Welcome back to Adventure Riding TV. We've got something a little bit different for you today. We're actually going to do a review on the 2014 Triumph Speed Triple R. So come along for a ride with us in Perth, Western Australia, up and down the coast, and see what this bike's all about. So the ride we're doing today, we're actually leaving Perth, and I'm riding with a mate of mine. His name's Dave. He's on a 2011 Triumph Speed Triple that he's done up with an aftermarket exhaust and computer system. We're riding from Perth up to Wanneroo, which is north of Perth, and then we're going to come back down the coast road, and it is an absolutely beautiful Perth summer's day. We're doing this on the 2014 Triumph Speed Triple R, which is what I want to report for you on. So come and check it out. Let's get into it. I'll tell you what, it's days like this that makes me really grateful for living in Perth. This beachside ride is just fantastic, and you know, if we weren't short on time, we'd be stopping at a few of these coffee shops on the way as we head back down the coast. Check out the view of the beach right here from the road. Isn't that just spectacular? So when I look at the style of this Triumph, it is just sexy. I love the lines and curves on this bike. I know that for a lot of people, that you either like it or you don't. And if you're one of the ones that don't, that's fair enough. But I think it's fantastic. The touches of carbon fiber tie together beautifully. The stumpy rear end looks absolutely mint. And the Daytona red brings the track feel to the bike. And it's a real head turner. When you're down the cafe strip, people just see this bike. They can't miss it. In terms of comfort, when I sit on this bike, it just feels right. The bars are at the right spot with a comfortable bend, the foot pegs are in a good location, and they're high enough that you won't scrape them easily on a track day. The seats are really good cross between comfort and mobility. Now, I've actually ridden this bike on a 450-kilometer journey one day from Perth down to Denmark, and then back the next day without any discomfort. So that's saying a fair bit. The bikini fairing is just enough to keep wind from giving you too much grief on the freeway as well. Overall, the riding position's nicely upright, and it still gives you that exhilaration of being on a bike that's got some serious balls about it, and this thing does. So let's talk about performance. So this bike, I've broken it down into a few categories, and one of them for me is agility. And in terms of agility, this bike's brilliant. The bike's not light, and it doesn't feel like it's not light. So I can easily nip in and out of traffic, and I can make this bike go wherever I want to. It actually feels fantastic. In terms of speed, it's just awesome. A bike like this is only going to ever be topped out on a track by a very experienced rider. And let's be honest, most of us are not that. Now, the acceleration is pretty spectacular. It's almost scary, and at the same time, it's really comfortable. They've done a great job of tuning that in. The sound that this bike makes is, you know, I love the note that comes from 3 cylinders and 1050 cc's. The note's just beautiful. In fact, I actually think there's nothing quite like it, and I've seen people actually stay behind me, even though they could have passed, just to hear the note. Now, in terms of suspension, Öhlins suspension front and rear, that's just awesome. It can't be beat. Braking, you got twin Brembos at the front and a single disc at the rear. You can stop when you want it. Now, this bike puts out maximum torque of 111 Newton meters at just under 8,000 RPM and maximum power of 135 brake horsepower at almost 9,500 RPM. So this thing will scream when you want it to. Overall, this is a brilliant bike. It's really enjoyable to ride. Okay, my final thoughts on the 2014 Triumph Speed Triple. So this is not the brand new model. This one's a couple years old, and what a cracking bike. It is so much fun to ride. I love the upright riding position. Wind the throttle on anywhere in the rev range or in any gear, and it just pulls away. The power is fantastic.
As a commuter, as a cafe racer, absolutely brilliant, good fun, really nimble, feels really light when you're riding it. I'm sure that it would be awesome on a track, although I'm not game to try that yet myself. Absolute fantastic piece of machinery. Now, I hope you've enjoyed the content we've created for you as we've been testing it. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Adventure Riding TV is going to bring you some fantastic content later in the year. We're heading up to the Kimberley, which is in northern Western Australia, one of the most remote places you can go, plus a whole bunch of other rides and some great fun stories about mateship. So thanks so much for being part of the community and tuning in. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.